Losing 50 pounds is an insane achievement. So in this video, I'm gonna run you guys through the full roadmap as to how you can drop 50 pounds in body weight yourself. Now, this is a transformation I have done myself in the past, going from 210 pounds down to 160 pounds. So I'm gonna run you through all of the phases that you need to go through to actually achieve this. So let's get into it. So you can see here, this is my transformation, sitting at around 210 pounds at my top end scale weight, down to around 160 pounds on my low end scale weight. So let's get into it. So before we start this, some important things and notes to remember. Fat loss isn't fast, all right? It takes time, guys, to see real change. So results are gonna come from consistency over time, a sustainable calorie deficit, and building habits that you can actually stick to, all right? This isn't a 30-day challenge, it is a long-term process. So it's really important to talk about this because people always wanna rush these results, and it just does not work like that when your goal is to lose 50 pounds or more. You've got such a big weight loss target, like that takes time, okay? So you have to be real with yourself in the fact that this is gonna take a while, okay? So what to expect here, achieving sustainable fat loss. You can realistically lose the 50 pounds within 6 to 9 months by following this flexible dieting approach that I'm going to show you, incorporating breaks to prevent burnout and ensuring no rebounds occur post-diet. So it's one thing losing the weight, but also keeping it off is another thing, right? But again, this can be achieved within 6 to 9 months, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, for most people, this takes longer, okay? And for me, I was one of those people. Now again, 50 pounds is a lot of weight to lose, so it is very important that we do this in a structured way that not just gets the weight off, but again, keeps it off, okay? So the very first thing you need to do is get the time frame kind of out of your head. Like, you just need to commit to the journey and the process of it and the end goal, rather than how long it's actually going to take to get there. When you do that, again, this becomes so much easier. So this is kind of the roadmap. Now, I've split this up into 7 different phases, okay? So I'm going to run you through what these are, and again, these are what is ultimately going to get us to that end goal. Now, the reason we even have phases is, again, because this is a process. It's not a quick fix. It's not that 30-day challenge. This is going to take a while. So we want to split it into phases rather than trying to lose 50 pounds in one go, which would be incredibly challenging, right? So the first thing we're going to do is set the initial fat loss phase. Now, this is fat loss block 1. So this is going to be the first 1 to 8 weeks. We're then going to go into a diet break, which is going to be a bit of a pause on that diet. We're then going to go into a second one. You can see all the weeks are listed here, weeks 11 to 18. We're then going to go into our second diet break. Then we're going to go into our third fat loss phase. We're going to hit a maintenance phase after that, and then go into our final push. So you can see the overview there is there are 4 different fat loss phases. There are 2 diet breaks and 1 maintenance phase. Again, these are going to be extremely crucial for actually achieving the 50-pound weight loss. So what makes this work? So essential principles for sustainable fat loss. So to achieve lasting weight loss, guys, we are going to be focusing on weekly calorie averages, all right? What our calories look like on average across the week. We're going to track our food consistently. We're going to incorporate some planned breaks along the way. And we're going to prioritize maintenance phases for that long-term success so we do not burn out. And I can't stress the importance of the burnout topic enough. It's the biggest thing because, again, this is a long-term journey. You're talking about nearly a year of work. So it's very hard to stick to a diet for a year's time, right? That duration's long. So you have to actually, again, take this in phases because, again, it's hard to keep that motivation going for so long. So they are absolutely crucial to avoiding that burnout. So getting into the nitty-gritty and the starting point. So fat loss block 1. Now, the initial phase is going to be 1 to 8 weeks, okay? So this phase targets 15 to 20 pounds of weight loss, right? So we are going to be setting that baseline and going and pushing the pace right from the get-go. All right, this is where you are probably going to drop the most amount of weight that you do in this very first phase. So this is your opportunity to push anywhere from 1 to 2 pounds per week on average, if not even a little bit more, depending on your start point. All right, because this is when hunger's probably at your lowest and motivation and adherence is actually going to be at your highest. So again, this is your opportunity to push that little bit harder and really kick things off well. So you want to try and achieve in this 8 weeks, hopefully by the 8-week point, somewhere around, again, the 15-pound mark would be an amazing achievement. If you come in a little bit less and you're only 10 pounds down, don't get me wrong, that is still an incredible achievement, and that is great. So it really doesn't matter, as long, even though I've put 15 to 20 here, that's really the top end number. And again, it all kind of depends on your start point. Again, assuming people are on slightly the heavier side here, if you've got kind of 50 pounds to lose, again, this 15 to 20 will be more achievable. If you're already on kind of the slightly lighter end and you still have a bit of weight to lose, but you're going to be very lean by the end of it, again, sticking to closer to the 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 pound mark is absolutely acceptable as well. That's absolutely fine. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to be cycling calories throughout this process. We're going to be prioritizing protein, and we're going to be maintaining our regular training alongside a daily step goal for these optimal results, right? So what we're really going to do is we're going to be looking to set high and low calorie days. Now, this is a structure I like to follow, where I will go slightly lower calories during the week to give myself slightly higher calories either on the weekends or on training days. Either or. Again, this is something that helped me stay highly successful in my own 50-pound weight loss journey by cycling those calories, because again, it all comes down to flexibility. If you just go low cal weeks and weeks on end, it can be quite tricky to stay adherent, all right? Because you almost feel like you never get a break. The biggest point of this is to make it sustainable, right? Because we need something we can do for a long period of time. So giving ourselves this slightly, flexible approach with cycling these calories, again, goes a really, really long way. The regular training is going to stay the same, but we are going to want to increase activity. So just incorporating a step count can be really beneficial. But I'll save that for another video. So the next thing we're going to do once we get past those first 8 weeks is we're going to head into our very first diet breaks. Now, these diet breaks are absolutely essential, as you can see here, resetting hunger and improving overall performance. I personally think they are more of a mental break than they are a physical. Actually, giving yourself a break from your diet. Again, dieting can be hard. To slash your calories for so many weeks in a row can be challenging. So having, a couple of weeks almost off eating at maintenance calories makes the world of difference. So I can't stress enough how important these diet phases are. You do not want to skip them in this process, all right? So again, this is about resetting and preparing you for that next phase. So these 2 weeks, you're going to rise your calories up to a new predicted maintenance, okay? So again, obviously, during the diet phase, we're going to be eating in that calorie deficit. We're then going to go up to maintenance calories for the diet break. We're then entering fat loss block 2. So this is where we're going to really focus on keeping our strength high and recovering well. So we're going to continue with the same calorie cycle that we did in block 1, but we may be dropping if necessary, okay? Now, your body adjusts over time, right? Your body's going to adjust, especially as your weight is dropping. So you may find that your calories need to change along the way. Now, this is just something you're going to have to monitor as you are progressing in a diet. Now, obviously, if you're working with a coach, someone like myself, this makes it so much easier because I would adjust the calories for a client, right? But if you're doing things by yourself, then you have to be really monitoring those scale numbers and making sure that you are actually going down on average. And if you start hitting some stalls along the way, then things may need adjusting, all right? So again, during this phase, in an ideal world, we would aim to lose another 15 to 20 pounds. But I want to stress again that that's top end weight. Again, depends on your start point. It might be a lot lower for you. It may be another 8 to 12 pounds, and that is absolutely fine. Because remember, we are playing the long game, right? So don't feel like you have to crash diet your way down trying to lose 2 pounds a week. It's much more effective to lose 1 pound a week on average and go for longer, okay? That will work. As long as you get there, it doesn't matter the duration, right? It's better than not getting there at all because you couldn't stick to a diet. Again, I can't stress that enough. After that, we're going to be going into diet break number 2. So again, weeks 19 to 20 here, we're going to be eating at maintenance calories while continuing to track our food, keeping the training routine the same, and we're just adjusting and resetting, again, all that fatigue that's been building up, diet fatigue, training fatigue. This is just that chance to reset before we get into fat loss phase 3, all right? Which at this point, we have been dieting for quite some time, right? So we're not restarting anything here, we're just continuing. And again, at this point, like I've said here, you're no longer at the start of your journey. You've already lost a significant amount of weight now and you've built some strong habits. So this phase, fat loss 3, is really about continuing those habits and just staying the course. Because again, motivation may be long gone now, all right? It's very easy in the start sometimes to keep that motivation nice and high. It's something new. Well, this isn't new anymore. So you're going to have to find that determination somewhere. And again, the habits you have built to get to this point will hopefully keep you going till the end. All right. So that brings us into the next phase. Now, this is, in my opinion, probably the most important phase of all during the entire process. And it is the maintenance phase. Now, this is going to be a 4-week diet break effectively. So we've obviously had a couple of diet breaks along the way where we took a little bit of a break going up to maintenance calories. So we're going to do the exact same thing here. We're just going to do it for longer. I always say it's cool to lose weight. It's even cooler if you maintain it. So it's so important that we take these breaks to absolutely lock in this new set point of weight, right? Again, you're 30 pounds down, whatever it is at this point, like we want to keep that going, keep that solid. So we have to focus on the maintenance phases. And this is to really give your body some recovery after weeks and weeks and weeks of dieting. Again, you would have only had 4 weeks off after all of those many, many weeks of dieting. So it's going to be really, really important that you take this phase, and it's actually going to help you keep the weight off in the long run by doing this, all right? So again, we're going to reverse diet our calories back up to maintenance. We're going to keep tracking our food. We're not going to take the foot off the gas there, and we're going to keep the same training. And this is all to, again, avoid rebounding back up and gaining 30 pounds back. But I've put here, it's important to note that your maintenance may be lower than it used to be. You know, again, you've lost maybe 30 pounds at this point. So you may have lowered your energy expenditure, right? So your body may not be burning as much as it used to because it doesn't have as much mass anymore. So you may not need as many calories to sustain your daily function. So your maintenance may be a lot lower than it was versus diet break 1. So this is very important to consider. So it's always better to go a little bit conservative, and you can always add in a little bit of extra calories, like 50 calories a week during that maintenance period. That is absolutely fine to do. But ultimately, it is a break. And even if you do gain a little bit of weight during the maintenance phases, it's not a problem because you're entering longer phases of dieting straight after. So you're just going to lose it all again. So again, do not stress the maintenance phases if the weight, ticks back up a little bit. Okay, the final push here, closing off the loop. So by this point, you're already going to be leaner, you're going to be stronger, and you're going to be feeling a lot more confident in yourself. So this phase is all about finishing what you've started, all right? You're not forcing anything extreme now, it's just finishing, all right? So we just need to literally stay consistent and do what has got us here. So you're just going to go back into a controlled, short and sharp deficit to finish off the weight loss. Now, you might be at 40 pounds lost, you might be at 45 pounds lost, you might be at 35 pounds lost. This is just that final fat loss phase to finish the process and shift that last bit of weight and get to that end point, all right? However long that takes for you. And at any point, if you feel like you need an extra break, then you can just add in another diet break and then repeat. Super simple process, okay? So don't feel like you have to then diet for 20 weeks if you're still quite far away from your goal. Once we finish all this, we should be looking pretty damn good because you are going to be around 50 pounds down. That is absolutely wild. But guys, this is how you would set up a diet phase like this and a whole fat loss journey to lose such a large amount of weight. All right, but long-term maintenance, as I've said previously in this video, is more important. I think it's cooler than actually just losing the weight in the first place. Keeping it off, especially if you are someone that is prone to weight gain, keeping it off is such a massive win. Okay, and the biggest thing I can stress to do that is keep the habits that got you there. The habits that got you to that weight loss goal will keep you there. Now, that doesn't mean we have to stay in a calorie deficit all the time, but what it does mean is that we need to keep tracking our food. We need to keep measuring our food, keeping that awareness and weighing ourselves consistently, continuing to train hard, all right? But what's important, guys, is we take a flexible approach, right? Keep that 80-20 rule going, and that's gonna really help you. You know, keep doing the calorie banking, the high and low days. That will ultimately keep you there. If you get to your end goal and you suddenly stop doing everything that got you there, there's a very good chance you're going to start ticking your way back to where you started. So the tools got you there, keep using them to keep you there. All right, very important. So if you still need help after this getting started, I'm giving away my free calorie and macro calculator. Again, as we've talked about in this video, we've talked a lot about calories and macros and obviously these phases. So obviously to be successful with these phases, you're gonna need to know your calories and macros and how much protein you're going to be needing to eat, what your calories actually need to be, and adjusting them along the way. So again, if you want access to my free calorie and macro calculator, I'm going to be putting a link down in the description, and you will get a very good start point so you know exactly what to do in phase 1. Okay, now if you need any more help, feel free to reach out. There'll be another link in the description where you can reach out to me to apply for one-to-one online coaching, and we can personally go through this together and get you losing 50 pounds and feeling in the best shape of your life. But guys, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you managed to put it into action and do something like this yourself and achieve an awesome transformation. But if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, remember to drop a comment, and remember to subscribe, and I shall catch you in the next one.